With the WINN FM News, I am Kevin Brown.
And I am Yulana Weeks.
Our top stories.
The Nevis Island Administration Cabinet reviews submissions for the Alexandra Hospital expansion. 8 ambassadors confirm participation in the Republic Bank Miss Teen St. Kitts and Nevis pageant 2025-2026. The 4th West India Regiment at St. Kitts and Nevis's 42nd Independence Parade, a rare but welcoming experience.
The OACS congratulates the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis on its 42nd anniversary of independence. UBEC hosts Business Development Services information sessions in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to support Blue Economy MSMEs. The new edition of the Green Link is here.
Palestinian flag raised outside embassy in London after UK recognition. Now the details.
The minister responsible for health on the island of Nevis, Janelle Nisbet, provided an update on the long-stalled hospital expansion project, specifically the development of a new diagnostic wing at the Alexandra Hospital. During the September 18, 2025 edition of Government at Work with Keith Disson at Scarborough, Nisbet shared that the government received 3 submissions from technical partners from the Republic of China, Taiwan, outlining possible ways of moving the project forward. She said discussions are ongoing with the cabinet to review the submissions.
We did engage our Taiwanese technical partners to provide some feedback and potential way forward. At this point, we've gotten 3 submissions from them of 3 different alternatives of how to bring this project to fruition. So we're discussing those at the cabinet level and selecting the best way forward for Nevis. At this time, we are still hopeful for a 2025 restart date of that project. So once that analysis is over and we identify the finances, we will continue forth with that service.
The diagnostic wing is earmarked as a critical addition to the island's healthcare infrastructure, yet for several years the project has been delayed, leaving some citizens disturbed and frustrated. According to the minister, despite the delay, the hospital is fully functional and critical services, including mammography and computed tomography CT scans, continue to be provided at the hospital.
At this time, I want to, of course, reiterate the fact that this new wing will host areas such as physiotherapy, the lab, the pharmacy, radiology, and these are all services that you still have access to right now at the Alexandra Hospital. In fact, over the years, they have improved tremendously at our current facility. We used to have to travel over to St. Kitts to a private facility to get CT scan. Right now, that's accessible right there at the Alexandra Hospital. We have our mammogram machine there in radiology, and thus far, we've been able to give at least approximately 500 women free access to that machine. There is a cost on everyday basis. However, we've done a number of promotions. In the first instance, when we implemented that machine, installed it, we offered free mammograms for 6 months, just so that everybody had the ability to be able to get tested, know their health status.
The minister added that other services will be relocated to the new wing after its completion, explaining that it would improve the flow of operations at the hospital.
This expansion is designed to improve the flow. So some services will be relocated there, but at current, we still have those services. And in addition to those, you'll have areas such as more wards, some private wards, conference rooms, nursing and doctors' areas, and additional operation theater. But right now, you still have your full access to your slate of medical services.
Nisbet on September 18 did not give an official timeline as to when work will resume, but several anxious citizens and residents wait with concern for the project's restart. The contestants for the highly anticipated Republic Bank Miss Teen St. Kitts and Nevis pageant were officially revealed on Sunday night, September 21, 2025. The launch was virtual, featuring a pre-produced video filmed at the iconic Brimstone Hill, the Gibraltar of the West Indies. It was streamed on the social media platforms of the St. Kitts and Nevis National Carnival, showcasing the beauty of the contestants against the backdrop of the historical site. 8 contestants will be vying for the coveted crown. They include Ambassador Ambassador number 1, Kimaya MacDonald, Miss Keon High School. Ambassador number 2, Tatiana Archer, Miss Immaculate Conception Catholic School. Ambassador number 3, Kamira Williams, Miss Virchilds High School. Ambassador number 4, Kaylin Brown, Miss Charles E. Mills Secondary School. Ambassador number 5, Joelle Nisbet, Miss Dr. Denzel L. Douglas Secondary School. Ambassador number 6, Kalia Field 2, Miss Bastia High School. Ambassador number 7, Kada Rollins, Miss Washington Archibald High School. And Ambassador number 8, Selena Alwani, Miss Sky Academy. In addition to introducing the contestants, the video featured the reigning Miss Teen St. Kitts and Nevis, Soraya Williams Powell of Virchilds High School. The pageant is scheduled for Saturday, December 13, 2025, with contestants now heading into their last few months of preparation and training ahead of the coronation. The 2025 edition of the pageant is anticipated to be one of the most exciting yet, as the contestants will feature their diverse skills in areas such as talent, public speaking, and cultural awareness. The pageant aims to empower young women, providing them with a platform to develop confidence and leadership skills. The 4th West India Regiment of the Brimstone Hill Fortress was a major highlight of the 42nd Independence Day Parade for the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis on Friday night, September 19, 2025. The regiment performed drills to the beat of an African drum and carried weapons reminiscent of a bygone era. The traditional gun salute and cannon fire, followed by the raising of the national flag, served as a reflection of the country's journey from colonial rule to independence, and a reminder to the people of the sacrifices made for their freedom. It was a collaborative effort between the St. Kitts and Nevis Defence Force and the Brimstone Hill Fortress National Park Society to put the small contingent of reenactors together for the parade. They were armed with the most popular weapon of the past, the British land-pattern flintlock musket, also known as the Brown Bess. Head of the Brimstone Hill Fortress National Park Society, Percival Hanley, shared a brief history of the regiment.
Formed in 1795, the 4th West India Regiment was comprised of enslaved African men serving as part of the British Army, being promised their freedom for military service. Many of its ranks were recruited from plantations on St. Kitts, and it was one of 12 such regiments of African soldiers established by the British to help defend their colonies in the Caribbean and abroad. The 1st Battalion of the regiment was stationed at the Brimstone Hill Fortress in 1798. The regiment was disbanded and later reformed in 1862 and was stationed on St. Kitts until 1869, when it was moved to Sierra Leone, where it was disbanded in 1895. We are now about to be transported back over 200 years to the late 1790s and early 1800s, when soldiers of the 4th West India Regiment were garrisoned at the Brimstone Hill Fortress.
The Independence Day Parade, which featured armed and unarmed uniformed groups, was marked by vibrant patriotism and cultural pride. However, the 4th West India Regiment of Brimstone Hill stood out as one of the most enjoyable segments of the proceedings. It was a rare yet captivating performance, causing the audience to erupt in applause and shouts of satisfaction. Their participation not only celebrated tradition, but also reinforced the nation's pride in its history and continued the journey toward progress.
In regional news,
The OACS congratulates the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis on its 42nd anniversary of independence. UBEC hosts Business Development Services information sessions in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to support Blue Economy MSMEs. The new edition of the Green Link is here. The Organization of Eastern Caribbean States Commission extends heartfelt congratulations to the government and people of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis on the occasion of the nation's 42nd anniversary of independence, celebrated under the theme Perpetual Progress, a Sustainable Future in View. Offering congratulatory remarks on this momentous occasion is the Director General of the OECS, Dr. Didacus Jules.
St. Kitts and Nevis, the smallest independent state in the Western Hemisphere, has demonstrated that greatness is never measured by size, but by vision, resilience, and innovation. From the moment of independence, you chose not to be constrained by smallness, but to embrace the world with courage and ingenuity. This pioneering spirit is seen in your bold leadership in renewable energy, where geothermal and solar initiatives are positioning the Federation as a model for the entire Caribbean. It is evident in your Citizenship by Investment program, which was not only the first of its kind in the world, but has since become a globally recognized innovation that has helped finance national development. The theme of this year's celebration, Perpetual Progress, a Sustainable Future in View, perfectly captures the Federation's ethos. Progress has been perpetual, from achieving universal education early on, to nurturing a thriving tourism industry, to creating modern frameworks in digital governance, healthcare, and financial services.
The OECS Commission salutes the government and people of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis for their leadership, resilience, and enduring contributions to regional integration and global innovation. In our next story, we head to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Organization of Eastern Caribbean States Commission has completed a high-impact monitoring and evaluation training for OECS business support organizations. On September 16th and 18th, the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States Commission, through the Unleashing the Blue Economy of the Caribbean project, also known as UBEC, funded by the World Bank, hosted business development services information sessions for micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. These sessions followed similar successful engagements recently held in Grenada and St. Lucia, where MSME owners in the fisheries, marine tourism, and waste management sectors received practical guidance on accessing grant funding and technical support under the Regional MSME Matching Grants Program. Let's take a look at a few video highlights from the previous trainings.
Grenadian micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises in the blue economy benefited recently from business development services information sessions on the Regional MSME Matching Grants Program.
These sessions were hosted by the Unleashing the Blue Economy of the Caribbean, or UBEC project. The program provides funding to these blue economy MSMEs. An online session was presented to MSMEs in the fisheries, marine tourism, and waste management sessions in Grenada, while a physical session was hosted at the Madonna Harford Conference Room, Grenada Public Workers Union, Tantine, St. George's. Business Development Services consultant Dr. Janelle Murray led the information sessions and engaged numerous MSME owners from around the island, eager to elevate their businesses.
Coming out from the business diagnostic assessments, we would understand more about the businesses, what their strengths and weaknesses are, where the gaps lie, what needs they may have. And then we will be able to develop a group training and capacity building program. So we're aiming to try and close those gaps and to address some of the business challenges that persons may have after the business diagnostics, right? And coming out of that training and development program, persons will be able to improve their knowledge and skills in terms of business management and to improve the operations of their business, right? So we may look at things like record keeping, costing and pricing, grant proposal writing, business plan development, and so on.
Beyond the business training and the capacity building program, coaching and mentorship support will be offered. UBEC is an OECS-managed, World Bank-funded program which harnesses the economic potential of the Eastern Caribbean's marine resources while promoting environmental sustainability. These information attendees were also hopeful the program would push micro, small, and medium enterprises in the blue economy in Grenada.
Yeah, I think the business developmental training would be quite ideal for me, especially with my business.
Based on the discussion this afternoon, it seems that most people aren't necessarily ready for gathering funding on their own, whether it's through local banks, financial institutions on a whole.
Similar information sessions were held in St. Lucia throughout the month of June, and in the coming weeks will be held in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Fishing communities like that of Woburn in Grenada could benefit from the Regional MSME Matching Grants Program. Reporting from St. George's in Grenada, for the OECS Newslink, I am Jacques Kingston Compton.
The Regional MSME Matching Grants Program is a flagship component of UBEC that provides financial support and capacity building to enterprises in the blue economy. It is designed to strengthen competitiveness, encourage innovation, and boost climate resilience across policy sectors. Now for our final story. The Green Link is here. This issue celebrates how the OECS Environmental Sustainability Division is turning vision into action, proving that even small states can shape big solutions. The new edition of the Green Link can be accessed on the OECS website, www.oecs.int.
We now bring you these international reports.
Detractors have dismissed the UK's recognition of the State of Palestine as empty symbolism. But symbols do matter. And to those watching Palestine's now ambassador to the UK raise the flag outside the now embassy in London, this moment was far from empty. Hussam Zomlot stressed, though, that what this represents is far less important than what comes next.
Let us treat this moment as a call to action. As a call to action to stop the genocide and the ethnic cleansing, to lift the siege and to end the occupation, to hold the aggressors accountable using every means possible under the law, including comprehensive sanctions and full arms embargo.
The United Kingdom formally recognises the State of Palestine.
Keir Starmer has taken a step no other British Prime Minister had been able or willing to. But most countries in the world had acknowledged Palestinian statehood by the mid-90s. So to Palestine supporters here, praise for the Prime Minister is lukewarm.
He has the ability today, right now, to end all arms deals, to state that there is a genocide as per the UN Commission report. He chooses not to do these things. He's trying to do the least amount possible to make himself credible within his own party and credible with the public.
Yet Starmer is still taking a political gamble. A great prize for Hamas and a victory for terrorism were some of the headlines in right-wing newspapers on Monday. Still, opinion polls suggest more Britons are in favour of recognising Palestine than against it.
This is a really good decision to recognise the two states because it's been going since quite a long time, and then it will give some hope to the people as well, for Palestine as well.
I think that the state of Gaza, it's not really a state, it's being destroyed, its infrastructure is being destroyed, and its people are being destroyed. And I think it's a tragedy.
With the Palestinian flag now flying over this West London side street, a plaque marking this as the embassy soon to be fixed to the wall of the building, and Hussam Zomlot now officially the ambassador. The cause of Palestine in the UK has just taken a momentous step, and nobody here wants that journey to stop now. They are demanding that the UK government follows recognition with action. Rory Challens, Al Jazeera, London.
Flying the flag. The mayor of the town of Saint-Denis, north of Paris, marks France's recognition of the state of Palestine at the town hall.
There is support for France's recognition, and there is solidarity with the tragedy experienced by the people of Gaza. And it's for these two issues that we raise the flag.
The leader of France's Socialist Party, Olivier Faure, sparked widespread debate 2 weeks ago after urging mayors to raise the flag to mark recognition. At the ceremony, he responded to critics who say the move rewards Hamas.
That flag is not the flag of Hamas. It is the flag of women and men who also have a right to freedom and self-determination.
But France's right-wing interior minister says flying the Palestinian flag is a political statement that defies France's principle of neutrality. He's ordered local prefects to have them taken down. Here in the city of Malakoff, south of Paris, the council is facing legal action from state authorities because the mayor decided to hang a Palestinian flag to mark Recognition Day. Hala Abu Hasira is the head of the Palestinian mission in Paris. She says the debate over the flag is regrettable.
France recognizes officially the state of Palestine. It is not surprising that the flag of Palestine would be raised, especially that the flags of many countries have been raised on the French municipalities. So I think this is a moment where solidarity would be expressed.
France showed solidarity with Ukraine after Russia's invasion because its highest court exceptionally broke with state rules on neutrality.
There have been other flags in the past, for example Martinique or Corsican separatists, and the High Court has always opposed them. It is only on Ukraine that there was consensus for reasons that legally do not make sense.
Double standards and mixed messaging. French President Emmanuel Macron's decision to recognise Palestine has clearly divided opinion. Supporters say it's been too long in coming. Opponents say it's too soon. But for dozens of mayors, flying the flag sends a clear message that France must stand on the side of peace. Natasha Butler, Al Jazeera, Paris.
Let's take you back to the UN headquarters where the General Assembly is getting underway. Aside from Gaza, another topic on the agenda is Iran. Well, Al Jazeera's diplomatic editor James Bays joins us from New York. Iran, a big issue when you're talking about 80 years towards more peace and stability. How is that playing out, James?
Well, it just happens that while world leaders are gathering here, as they do every year, for the Palestine meeting and then for the high-level week of the General Assembly, all those leaders giving their speeches, it's the last final days of a deadline that was triggered by European countries for what's known as snapback. They are unhappy that Iran is complying with the Iran nuclear deal, and by Saturday, if nothing happens, then all the sanctions that were there before the 2015 deal, they will snap back into place. Let's discuss this with one of the key players. I'm joined by Rafael Grossi, the Director General of the IAEA, that's the International Nuclear Watchdog. So first, snapback. Deadline is Saturday. How worried are you that this, if those sanctions come back, that it could destroy the nuclear negotiations?
Well, let's hope not. I think we have to make the distinction here. Snapback, which is going to have, if it happens, a huge impact in terms of economic sanctions and other things, is one process. Then we have something which is the relationship between the IAEA and Iran, which in principle must be permanent and not be contingent on the snapback being activated. Of course, if this happens, Iran, for one, has said that this might affect the relationship and the cooperation with us. And this is why there is so much diplomatic activity, as you were saying in your introduction, between those countries, ourselves, the United States as well, to try to find a way forward.
Now, those countries, the three European countries, have made it clear there are three things they want out of this. One of them is more cooperation between Iran and the IAEA, but you recently did a deal with Iran in Cairo. Are you happy with the cooperation the IAEA is getting from Iran at this stage, considering Iran was only subject to an attack by Israel and the US very recently?
It's a process. It's a process. Like you say, the attacks were, in a certain sense, a watershed because, direct kinetic action took place, vast damage to nuclear installations there. Inspections had to be suspended because of the mere fact that there were bombings falling from the sky. So now we have to make our way back into the system. Meantime, Iran adopted internal legislation, putting some, if not conditions, some new mechanisms to deal with the inspection work. So we had to sit around the table in order to try to reconcile both things. They have internal laws. Those create obligations for Iranians, not for the IAEA. But we have to listen to their concerns and remind them that they have obligations if they want to continue to be a member of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty.
The other conditions from the Europeans, they say Iran must account for the highly enriched uranium that they'd already been produced, but Iran says that's buried under a bomb site, and they also say they have to re-engage with negotiations. Well, hang on a minute. Iran was the one that was still involved in negotiations, and just days before they were supposed to sit down to meet in what was said to be a constructive process, it was Israel and then the US that bombed them.
Well, one thing at a time. Regarding the high enriched uranium, which was stored and kept in locations that were attacked. Of course, Iran is very concerned that giving access to inspections could affect their security. And we have been giving them the necessary assurances that our work has nothing to do with actions that states could take. And this is part of this technical conversation that we are having, because to perform inspections, you can do it in a number of ways. It's too long and too technical, not to bore the audience. But this has been the dialogue. So this cooperation, if you take these parameters, this metric that you were saying, there is an ongoing cooperation. Is it all that we would aspire to get? Not now, but we are on I hope, on a way to get more of that cooperation. And so time for diplomacy is needed, yes.
Now, I've interviewed you many times before,
yes,
and there's been lots of speculation about you, because Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations, finishes his term at the end of next year.
Yes.
That you might be a candidate.
Yes.
Are you going to be a candidate?
Yes, yes. And the reason why I'm going to do that has to do perhaps with some of the things we have been discussing now and in the past with you in different places. Ukraine, Russia, China, Japan about Fukushima, Iran and the Middle East. I believe that the kind of work that the IAEA has been doing, the approach, not always 100% successful, but quite effective, and with respect and dialogue with everybody, is what the UN needs. And this is what is inspiring me.
So this is important breaking news. You are the first person to declare themselves as a candidate to be the next Secretary General of the United Nations. Can I remind you that just on the 2nd of September, the GA, in an ad hoc working group on revitalisation of the GA, said candidates who are holding positions in the UN system, IAEA as part of the UN system, should consider suspending their work during the campaign. Now you've announced, are you stepping down temporarily?
Not at all.
Why not?
Not at all, because I shouldn't, because I have a responsibility dealing with very important issues. And let me add, laterally, that doing what I do is what may offer countries an ability to judge whether what we are doing at the IAEA is something that they might wish to see at this global stage. I'm focused on my work. I will continue, not stopping for a single minute.
The corridors of Omdurman Hospital, one of the few large medical complexes in the Sudanese capital, have turned into a makeshift ward for patients with dengue fever. The viral infection, spread by mosquitoes, has been spreading rapidly. Pools of stagnant water after the rainy season provide ideal breeding grounds. Thousands of cases have been recorded.
I felt the symptoms of dengue fever 2 weeks ago and tested at a health center nearby. I was referred to a hospital, but they couldn't treat me, so I was brought to Omdurman Hospital.
Khartoum is trying to rebuild after nearly 2.5 years of fighting between the army and the paramilitary rapid support forces. Authorities say the violence has destroyed more than half of its hospitals.
We brought our brother here, but there is no improvement. He's only been given IVs and we don't see any improvement.
More than 5,000 cases of malaria, typhoid and dengue fever and dozens of deaths have been reported in just one area of the capital in the past month. The increase in cases is putting a strain on Sudan's health sector at a time when thousands are returning to the capital. The congestion in hospitals and shortage of medical supplies are forcing some patients to seek alternative treatments. Muhammad Ali returned to his home in Bahri after the army regained control of the capital in March. He says he tested positive for malaria and dengue fever, but opted for home remedies.
I got tested at the health center in another district because the one in our district is not properly equipped. I was only able to get treatment for malaria, so I decided to take my medicine at home. I'm also taking traditional remedies because it's faster than waiting at the hospital.
Aid organizations have warned the caseload is likely to increase, and without support for the health sector, they fear more people will die waiting for treatment. Hiba Morgan, Al Jazeera, Khartoum.
The Duchess of York has been removed as a patron of a children's hospice following her email correspondence with the convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein. The charity Julia's House says it would be inappropriate for the Duchess to continue as patron of the charity. Well, let's get the latest on this developing story. Our correspondent Ellie Price is here in the studio with me. And Ellie, tell me more. Let's start with what the charity has said already through the course of today.
Sure. Now, the statement was released an hour or so ago, in which Julia's House, now this is a children's hospice charity based in the south of England, serving families in Dorset and Wiltshire. And in a statement they said, following the information shared this weekend of the Duchess of York's correspondent with Jeffrey Epstein, Julia's House has taken the decision that it would be inappropriate for her to continue as a patron of the charity. They go on, we have advised the Duchess of York of this decision and thank her for her past support. Now, she was a patron there since 2018. As I say, this is a charity dealing with very ill children, life-threatening and life-shortening conditions. A charity that's also got other famous names associated with it, including the football manager Eddie Howe, the actor Nigel Havers, the designer Jasper Conran. You sort of get the picture of how these charities work. We have contacted the Duchess's spokesperson today, but we're told that she will be making no further comment.
Just remind people watching, how close was her relationship with Epstein? And tell me more also about the email exchanges.
Well, the email exchanges obviously are crucial to all of this. And obviously from those emails, you can gather that she was quite a close friend. All this dates back to 2011. That was the time after the disgraced millionaire had already been convicted of sexual assault. She then went on the record, did an interview in which she appeared to publicly distance herself from him. And then this email was sent to him, a personal email, in which she seemed to then sort of distance herself from the distancing, if you like. She appeared to privately apologise to him, saying to him, "You have always been a steadfast, generous and supreme friend to me and my family." Now, this email was revealed over the weekend by the Sun newspaper and the Mail on Sunday. Now, obviously, all of that seeming to contradict an earlier distancing she'd made, in which she said that she had made a gigantic error of judgment by being friends with him, and what he did was wrong, and for which he was rightly jailed. Her spokesperson over the weekend, clarifying that position, she said that the private email to Epstein had been about trying to sort of mitigate, if you like, concerns that he might sue her for defamation. There'd been this link with the word paedophile, obviously again a crime that he was later convicted of.
Just a final thought then. Tell me, how many other charities is she connected to still, and could this start a domino effect?
Difficult to say at the moment. We've only heard from this one charity. We've been having a look through the list of the charities that she is involved with, and as she has done plenty of charitable work in her time, both as a working royal and since she divorced her husband, the Duke of York. Now, we understand she's involved with the Teenage Cancer Trust. So far, they have said that they are reviewing the situation, but there has been no decision. She's involved with the Youth Impact Council and the Children's Literacy Charity, to name a few, where she is also patron. But as yet, we haven't heard any further details from any more charities.
You were listening to the WINN FM 98.9 newscast. Our top stories were:
the Nevis Island Administration Cabinet reviews submissions for the Alexandra Hospital expansion. 8 ambassadors confirm participation in the Republic Bank Miss Teen St. Kitts and Nevis pageant 2025-2026. The 4th West India Regiment at St. Kitts and Nevis's 42nd Independence Parade, a rare but welcoming experience.
The OACS congratulates the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis on its 42nd anniversary of independence. UBEC hosts Business Development Services information sessions in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to support Blue Economy MSMEs. The new edition of the Green Link is here.
Palestinian flag raised outside embassy in London after UK recognition. Thank you for listening.